but inside it was a shambles. There was kind of rotting meat sitting in the fridge. Ethel was not a housekeeper, but much more important, she was an upper. She was fun. She was upbeat. She made her husband cheer up. Well, Bobby could be very shy and humble and retiring, but not in those movies. He's caught a little bit of his wife's infection.
Well, still, yeah, the political streets are... Summer in. Hi, I'm Jane King, and thank you for watching. This show is all about public, private, and blockchain companies. We bring you the innovators behind the companies making the headlines in that space. Some are sponsored, some are invited. All are curated and focused on telling you, the viewers, their story. Here we go. Native coin will be used by tribal businesses, enterprises, gaming, sports betting, and the tribal ecosystem worldwide to support daily financial transactions. Now, there are over 560 Native American tribes and 460 Native-run casinos in the U.S. So Native coin will not only give the tribes, but also any person or business the ability to buy, sell, send, purchase, and exchange funds via the blockchain. So good to have you all with us today. And we've got Jay Simmons, who is the Director of Tribal Operations for Native Coin, Randy Williams, the President of Native Coin, and also Marcus Gwynn, also known as MC1, International Tour Support for Taboo of the Black Eyed Peas, official DJ for Nike N7, and advisor for Native Coin. So great to have everybody here today. Jay, let's start with you. So I see you have some guests with you today, and I know we've talked in the past, but can you just bring viewers up to date in terms of what Native Coin is and what you're doing?
Sure, no problem. Thank you, Jane, and thank you again for having Native Coin back on with you. As always, it's a pleasure. For Native Coin, we are a sovereign native cryptocurrency, and basically it's created to bring outside investment to all the sovereign lands, connecting tribal enterprises to non-tribal enterprises, but it's really much bigger than that. But also using the new technology of blockchain. So it's been incredible. We look forward to doing this, and yeah, it's we got a great team now, and we're rocking and rolling.
Yeah. Well, I've always really thought this was a cool blockchain application, you know, a way to bring it forward. So we've got Randy with us here today too. Randy, President of Native Coin, just to bring us up to date, tell me about you. How did you get involved with the Native Coin project?
Well, you know, these guys brought it to me. I thought it was a great idea for the tribes. I've worked for tribes my whole life. Currently on my tribal council. Most recently, I've been a CEO for a Native corporation, and this sounded like an opportunity that made sense and is really going to be good for the Native community. Mm-hmm. And so once we get this started, of course, that will just enhance the Native community's ability to track their own money and basically have their own currency. So that's an important aspect of the tribal identity.
Mm-hmm. And then Marcus is with us today too. So Marcus, great to have you with us. And tell me a little bit about you and what attracted you to this native coin project?
Well, Hawaii, Jaje Wite, Marcus. Hello, my name is Marcus Osage, Potawatomi, Delaware, Puerto Rican on my dad's side. I really want to thank you so much for having me along here. So my story is that, you know, I'm kind of an entertainer, so I dabble in entertainment. I DJ, like you said earlier, I get to work with people like Taboo from the Black Eyed Peas. And one night, Taboo and I were doing an interview show on the internet, and Native Coin saw us. And we were talking that night about the invisibility factor in tribal communities. Turns out research was done, and one of the #1 things that we face in Indigenous America is, before any health disparities or any statistical things that we have to try to, that are challenges, the #1 thing we battle is our invisibility. That people forget that we're here, or we're replaced with romanticized ideas of us. So we were talking about that night. Native Coin was watching, and next thing you know, that's where we overlap, is in trying to combat that invisibility. And that's how I came to the party.
Okay, so it's kind of serendipitous. They were watching that night, and here you are. So Randy, I know we've talked about 2021, and it seems like every time that I talk to you guys, there's some kind of update or some new thing. Bring us up to date on where you're looking this year and how things look for Native Coin.
Well, we're looking at basically the introduction of cryptocurrency to tribes, and that in itself is going to be, you know, the challenge, right? Because not all the tribes understand cryptocurrency, and it's such a new concept that we're moving it forward. That's our goal. Our goal is to place some. After we do that, we look at developing some aspects of how native currency, or the native coin, will work in the tribal environment. And so those are all challenges that we're going to face this year, and that we're going to move forward towards meeting.
Mm-hmm. And then, Marcus, I mean, how do you see, and you talked a little bit about this, but native coin helping the tribes, and kind of, you talked about the invisibility. This is just a way to bring more attention to the tribal casinos, and what else do you see benefiting?
Well, actually, for me, it's two-pronged, with the disclaimer at the front. And so the disclaimer is that, you know, I'm not a native expert, or any of us are necessarily indigenous experts for all of the tribes, right? I think it'd be almost inappropriate, with over 500 federally recognized tribes. It's inappropriate for one person to try to speak for all, right? So with that said, there are a few things that are in common. And so, like, prong one is the concept that this country, from its foundation, had a nation-to-nation relationship with tribes, and that foundational part of our history sometimes gets overlooked. That's where, you know, our distinct, the things that make us distinct isn't just our race, but it's our citizenship. And those distinctions, hopefully, our sovereignty, this is a platform that could help illuminate that. So prong two is also challenges some of our invisibility, is this historical relationship to natural resources. In other words, historically, our DNA, we're stewards of abundance. So the idea of us being involved with the world of finance or currency is not new. It's more of an old school in a new school concept. And the potential upside for all the tribes it could be so great that I'm looking forward.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and that's really interesting that you mentioned the diversity of all the different tribes and how they're all kind of have their own unique characteristics. So that's something that, you know, has to be considered as you're doing this. So Jay, let's finish up with you. If you could kind of talk about Native Coin, what you see for the future going forward.
Sure. From the beginning, just like Marcus was talking about, you know, the visibility factor, that's been the hugest thing. And with Native Coin, one of our biggest thing is showing, you know, there may be a lot of different Native American tribes, but we're coming together as one voice, and to have a huge voice and to let people know. And my goal is to actually help Native Coin rewrite history, but also it was talked about many years ago about creating sovereign currency. And now we're at the point with blockchain and everything right now that it's going to become a reality. And I'm just happy to be part of this project. So.
Okay. And then just tell me how somebody can learn more about Native Coin.
Sure. No problem. They can go to native-coin.com. It has plenty of information on there, but also if people are looking to buy, It shows you a tutorial on there, and you can always reach us at info@native-coin.com.
Okay, thank you so much, Jay and Marcus and Randy, for joining me, and I look forward to more updates.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Jane. We appreciate you.
Yep, thank you.
Welcome back. Well, we're talking again with SmartKey, and also BitBoy Crypto Ben Armstrong is back. So this is like a reunion of sorts.
Yeah.
And I talked to you both at different times, but now you're working, BitBoy Ben, as a ambassador, right, for SmartKey? So let's start with that and let.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely excited to be part of it.
Okay. So if you could just start, why are you supporting the SmartKey project?
Yeah, so if anyone who's followed my YouTube channel, BitBoy Crypto, knows I've been in crypto heavily every day for years and years, invested in Bitcoin since 2012. And at this point where we are at in cryptocurrency, it's important to pretty much only support blue chip projects, I think. I think that a lot of these projects that have so much upside are the ones that we definitely want to be involved with. And when it comes to SmartKey, from the first time we read about this project, we were super, super, super excited. We know a lot of the things that are associated with bad projects. That's been a lot of our learning process, finding out what makes a bad project and then learning what makes a good project. And for SmartKey, it checks off all the boxes. It's ahead of the curve when it comes to technology and everything they're doing. I'm sure a lot of your audience has heard of IoT, or the Internet of Things. This is basically the Wi-Fi connectivity of all devices. There's going to be billions and billions of these devices over the next several years. SmartKey is positioning itself to be the leader of what we call BOT, which is the blockchain of things, which are all of these connected devices running on blockchain. They got huge partners, including Teltonica. They've got other projects or other companies that they're working on or with in the background that are going to be announced at different points. One thing I really like about SmartKey, and I'm really big on things that have real use case and real adoption. Just take emergency services, for instance. SmartKey is basically going to be able to work with emergency services to, let's say there's an emergency in an apartment building and the gate is locked. It's got a locked gate. SmartKey will be able to make it so those emergency services will have access to immediately go in. SmartKey can literally be saving people's lives down the road. And when you look at a lot of these projects, they're very conceptual. It's hard to see exactly how they can affect everyday life for us, here in America or here in the world. SmartKey is definitely one of those projects, and there's so many more reasons, but those are definitely some of the ones why we are behind SmartKey. Thanks.
Okay. Well, very interesting. Well, Shmuel, let's bring you in. That was quite an introduction there. So explain the technology and the blockchain of things, because a lot of us have heard of Internet of Things, and we get that concept. What is the blockchain of things?
Thank you, Ben. Lots of energy. Okay. I try to explain. We started SmartKey 3 years ago as a second-generation Oracle. Today's physical world around us is getting smarter and smarter. Yes, we have smart cars, smart buildings, and finally smart cities. The problem with all these smart solutions is the lack of communication standard between them. These are centralized solutions that compete with each other. Users are forced to use hundreds of applications. There is also a second world. You must imagine fully decentralized, open, secure, and public accessible blockchain. And we use this blockchain, and we create SmartKey as a missing puzzle connecting the physical world with this virtual world of blockchain. SmartKey is a communication standard like Bluetooth, I could say. We connect IoT devices, smart devices, directly to the blockchain. Thanks to the blockchain, our IoT devices gain interoperability, enabling the creation of a completely new solution and business models. This is our advantage. Yes, we have extensive experience in building products already available on the market. We have a working product, as Ben said. And finally, with SmartKey, you can connect smart devices to the blockchain and use a safe and public integration method. 99% of early stage projects, as everybody knows, in blockchain space, have only an idea. We are from traditional business. We started our project after our product was launched. As you probably know, we recently used SmartKey as a blockchain keys for emergency services, like Ben said, in Poland. In that kind, we solve the real-world problem that emergency services can help you faster. Yes.
Okay. And then, so what are your plans for this year then?
I would say in short-term period, we try to reach. We could say in two ways. In short-term, we coming in this year. We are entering 2 exchanges. We want to enter 2 exchanges from top 10 coin market cap, and for our coin, we want to be. Our goal is to reach top 20 in coin market cap also. We will also announce several new big partnerships that will bring the SmartKey to the millions of people around the world. It will be a huge announcement. We will focus on development stage and focus on our partners in building products and that could be available to purchase worldwide. Second thing, we are also expanding the range of our flagship use case, Rescue Without Barriers. Thanks to this product, we can shorten the time of arrival of rescue teams. This program will cover several million households in this year. Together with our partners also, we will announce a global competition and hackathon with a large pool of prizes for products using SmartKey. This is short-term, 1 year. Long-term period, SmartKey will become a kind of operating system driving a smart cities of the future. It will integrate the solutions already used by city inhabitants with public services. We are working to make that happen with city authorities in large European cities. We are building the open standards for cities and invite all the city authorities to join us, to help us to do it together.
Okay. Well, that all sounds very exciting, and I hope you come back and explain like where you're at this year as you go through your goals and long-term goals. So thank you so much, Simone, and also BitBoy Ben for joining us today, and we look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Thank you.
GreenBox is a way to get customized payment solutions for your business through blockchain technology. And with me to explain how all this works is the founder and CEO, Ben Erez. Ben, good to see you again.
Good morning, Jane. Good to see you again.
So it looks like you had some big news out recently. Can you explain what that's all about?
Yes, GreenBox has completed the most significant acquisition in its history this week. We have acquired our largest independent sales organization that was operating on our system for about a year and a half now. We bought them for several reasons. They have interesting point-of-sale technology that merges with ours fairly well. They have support and customer service staff. They have a development team that we were interested in. They have a book of business that, in spite of the pandemic, did about $400 million in processing for the year, although they were scheduled for a little over $1 billion for the year. They have a Chicago location, including an interesting 60,000 square foot building that we wanted to put our name on. That will happen. They have approximately $13 million in net earnings for 2020. And here is an interesting part of that acquisition. This was an all-stock deal with a stipulated share price of $2 a share. So extremely accretive for the company and for its shareholders. And on top of that, they have earning hurdles to complete their stock earnout. So it may be actually even cheaper than that for us. Extremely well-executed acquisition.
So how could somebody buy shares? I mean, now that they've seen you put faith in the company, they may want to take a look at it. How can they find out more about the company?
Yes, so many current brokers support the stock, and they are available to open accounts and purchase shares directly. Obviously, once the company is trading above $5 and is a NASDAQ listed company, any broker in the nation will be happy to pick up clients who want to purchase the shares. And this is coming up.
Okay, well, that's a big step. So, okay, finally, you've had a lot of activity. What do you see going forward in 2021?
We see quite a few growth drivers for 2021. Generation 3 technology is obviously the key to our growth. We look forward to expand collaboration with the market leaders and large banks. We are looking to expand our product line to include the white label solutions, SaaS solutions, and digital banking. We intend to continue and execute on our global expansion. And mergers and acquisitions will be in the forefront of our activity for the upcoming quarters.
Okay, thank you, Ben. Let's do another update as you get closer to your NASDAQ listing. That would be great.
Happy to. Thank you, Jane.
Nextech AR Solutions is providing augmented reality solutions for businesses. And with me is the CEO and founder, Evan Gappelberg of Nextech AR Solutions. So great to have you here, Evan.
Great to be here, Jane.
So now you're trading over the counter, right? So tell me about that. What kind of exciting ventures do you have going right now? And how can somebody find your stock?
Sure. So we're dual listed in Canada under the symbol NTAR and in the U.S. under the symbol NEXCF. The stock is pretty liquid, trades a couple 100,000 shares a day. As far as finding us, I mean, you could find us on any trading platform, and, we're in the augmented reality space. Business is booming. We just ended 2020 with $20 million in revenue.
Okay. Well, I mean, it is a hugely growing space for sure. Now, how did you get here? I know you have a really interesting kind of story about how you founded the company.
Yeah, so, if you go all the way back, it started out with taking Take-Two Interactive Software public. That was, all the way back in the 1990s. That was at $5 a share. I brought in the seed capital. The stock right now is $205 a share. And the valuation back then was $30 million. It's now about $23 billion. And so my whole way of investing, and I've been an investor my whole life managing money, has been to look for multi-decade, multi-trillion-dollar mega trends. And AR is part of the digital transformation, which is probably the biggest mega trend that the world has ever experienced to date is this whole digital transformation. And so I look at augmented reality as part of that. And if you think of the digital transformation mega trend that's currently underway, it's being led by 5G. I mean, a lot of people have really started to think of this digital transformation as the fourth industrial revolution. And with technology evolving faster than ever, you see this revolution really being led by augmented reality, AI, Internet of Things, edge computing, cloud computing, and as I mentioned, 5G is kind of driving the adoption globally. And if you look at 5G over the next couple of years, you're going to see an 11x adoption of 5G. And the way I look at this, Jane, is that there's a convergence of all these technologies where they're becoming ubiquitous, really for training, in e-commerce, for advertising, and entertainment. And this convergence really is stimulating a rapid market adoption environment similar to the internet in the 1990s. And if you remember what happened then, there was the creation of multi-billion-dollar industries almost overnight.
So you are not the only public company in this space. So there's Vuzix, Why My Hologram, Snapchat is known for virtual reality. I think they're traded on the New York Stock Exchange. I mean, how would you compare yourself to those other companies in this space?
So back to what I was just saying, they're point solutions, right? So Vuzix has a pair of AR glasses for enterprise. It's not something a consumer would wear. It's somebody, in a warehouse, you're able to wear these AR glasses and kind of, maneuver around the warehouse, which, they have a market cap of about 500 million. And again, they have one product. We have a portfolio of product. If you look at Snap is a walled garden. They have a lot of augmented reality experiences in their app. Primarily, Snap's business model revolves around their AR ad network. Again, we have an AR ad network, and we're launching it now. Actually, we just hired the president of Microsoft online to run our ad network. He ran a $10 billion ad network at Microsoft. He left Microsoft January 5th, joined Nextech to build our $1 billion ad network.
And you also recently filed to uplist to the NASDAQ? We
did. We filed to uplist, and we're expecting to get approved imminently. We're in discussions with investment bankers in the U.S. to open up our company to institutional investors. Right now, we're purely retail stock. There's no institutions in our stock at all. And, primarily it's me, my friends, and the early investors. I'm the single largest shareholder. I bought stock 5 times in the last 12 months in our stock. And so if you look at, the trajectory of the company, we're now knocking on the door of institutions, knocking on the door of NASDAQ, uplisting, really crossing over from startup to kind of being that mid-cap hyper-growth tech stock.
Okay. So you talked about that a little bit, the NASDAQ potential uplisting this year. What else is in the plans for Nextech?
I mean, we're focused, Jane, on becoming a multi-billion-dollar public company that's known the world over for its AR offerings in advertising, in virtual events and live events, and also for the live streaming, as I mentioned, of human holograms. I mean, each one of these businesses alone is $1 billion opportunity, each one of them. And we have multiple.
Fascinating, Evan. Thank you so much. And I look forward to getting an update soon as more technology comes out and the NASDAQ listing comes through. So that will be very interesting.
Absolutely.
Thank you.